Hello everyone, welcome back to Geeks for Geeks. Today we have Ayushi with us, and we are here with yet another webinar on interview experience. So, this webinar is going to be a really special one. And Ayushi, thank you for doing this and sharing your experience. So, a bit about Ayushi. So, she is currently an SDE at Walmart, and apart from that, she also has a YouTube channel on data structures and algorithms. Even I have been following her YouTube channel, so all of you guys should definitely check out. It is really informative, really useful, and will definitely help out you for your preparation for your interview. Right. So, Ayushi, if there is something else that you would like to tell about yourself to the audience, you can tell us.
First of all, thank you, Muskan, for having me here, and thanks for that great introduction. So I think pretty much, Muskan, you covered everything. So before working at Walmart, I have had a few internships in my college. We can discuss about them like when we proceed in the further interview.
Okay, so Ayushi, can you tell us a bit about your coding journey? Like, how did you get into the field of computer science? How did you get to know about all this? It would be really great to know about that.
So yeah, I have been in a college where there was no much like not much coding exposure and not much people do coding. So
Yeah.
obviously I was not aware of coding. Like we need to do data structure algorithms till my second year. So till my third semester, you can say I was not at all aware that we need to do data structure algorithms for preparation of interviews for getting placements and all, because there was no much exposure in the college, right? So
Right.
that time, during my first and second year, that time. So yeah, so what I like from where I got to know from my friends which are in different other colleges like NITs or other private universities which are good, like good universities. So from them I got to know about all this, like we need to do data structure algorithms. So then from, you can say, exactly from the fourth semester, in my second year fourth semester, I started doing coding. But that too also we were not, I was not clear about how to start and what to do first. So I was just randomly doing, and so we learn when we do, right? We do the process, we learn. So
Right.
yeah, that is somewhat my coding journey. I started in fourth semester, and there are a lot of ups and downs in the journey, but yeah, that is how I started.
Yeah, that is really great. I think, as you mentioned, that you learn by doing. So I think this is something that many of the freshers or people who are in their second year or third year should know. It is not like I'm not able to do data structures and algorithms. Initially, everybody faces problems, right?
Yes.
Initially, like we were not able to solve questions, but as you do, then I think things start getting better. So definitely.
Yes.
So Ayushi, other thing, like if I were to ask you that start from your first year, so what is that one thing that you will do differently, maybe if you had to start your journey all over again?
First of all, I'll start a bit early, because it's not that you, when you start late, you are not able to do. It's not like that, but it's something like, other people are doing from first year. So sometimes you get bit, anxious, and you know that okay, you are a bit late, but that's not late. You are never late. You can start in third year also, second year end also, anytime. But the thing is, if you obviously practice makes a man perfect, right? So if you do it early, you are more, you practice more. So one thing which
Right.
I will do is I will start early, and secondly I will start in a more concise manner. I In the starting I used to do randomly, which was not the correct way. But yeah, if I have to start all over again, I'll do it in a more structured and concise way.
Correct, correct. Also about the opportunity at Walmart that this webinar is all about. So can you
Yeah.
tell us that was it an on-campus opportunity, off-campus, and how did you get to know about that opportunity?
So yeah, from my college days only, I've been much active on LinkedIn. So from there, I got to know there is a competition on Dare to Compete, which is Coders, which is going to
Hmm.
be conducted. So obviously, I thought like why I should not apply. I applied for it, and
Right.
yeah, so it was a off campus opportunity, and it was a contest.
Right, really great. Also, can you tell us like how many rounds were there? What was the entire procedure, online assessments, interviews, and was it a hackathon kind of thing? So,
Yeah. So it was kind of a hackathon only. So there was one online coding round which has two questions, and we need to do it in one. I'm not really remember the. I don't
hmm,
really remember the time duration, but I think it was 1 hour to 1.5 hours. So two coding questions were there, and the level was medium. So it totally it's not like this type of this topic problems will come, or so it's randomly. You can get DB
Right.
problem also, you can get hash map problem, string problem also. So it was not like that it will be of a particular topic. But talking about other interview rounds after this, so initially I told you there was one online coding round. After that there was another round in which we had 25 to 30 MCQs related to computer
Okay.
science fundamentals, time complexities, and all that. So aggregate of these two rounds, the coding round and the MCQ round, we the aggregate of this, you can say average of these two rounds will give us the ranking. And
Right.
there was
Okay.
something like top 100 or something, not sure about. So those people will get shortlisted for the further interviews. So then I
Okay.
got shortlisted for the further interviews, and after that there were two coding rounds, coding DSA rounds, and there was one managerial round after that.
Okay. So basically, there were two initial rounds, and after that, also two rounds were there, like coding rounds.
Yes,
Okay, four rounds in total, and then there was a managerial round.
yes,
Okay, so it was a really elaborate procedure, right? Like from the
yes.
start till end, four rounds, right? Okay, and as you already mentioned that difficulty level was medium, but did it vary for different sets? Because as you mentioned that everybody was getting different set of questions, or it was medium only?
So it totally depends. Talking about the online round, you can get
Hmm.
as easy as a string question. Also, you can get a difficult question of DP also. So it's not
Okay,
that if you will not be able to do. If you are good in DSA, you have practiced ample amount of questions, you know the basic concepts, and your concepts are clear. So you will be easily able to clear the online round. And
right.
secondly, talking about the coding rounds, DSA coding rounds. So in that the difficulty level, you can say, was ranging from easy to medium. So see,
Okay,
Muskan, it's all about that. If you have done DSA and you have enough, enough practice in this, so you will be able to clear. It's not like you will not be able to clear. It's pretty much like if you have DSA experience, you know the concepts, you'll be able to clear.
able to clear, right? Correct.
Yes.
Also, if anybody wants to see details about the contest, like I think it will be available online, so do search it out. Maybe it will change for this year, like in your case, if there were four rounds and one managerial, maybe things will change this year. So do check it out in their official website, right? And was it a team-based contest or something, or
No,
individual?
no. It was individual only.
It was
So yeah, it
individual.
was
Okay,
individual.
great. Also, as you mentioned that CS fundamentals were asked, right? So a
Yes.
lot of times students just ignore CS fundamentals and pay more attention to DSA. So how important is CS fundamentals and where did you prepare for them?
So CS fundamentals are important, talking about just only the interview perspective. So
Right.
when your interviews are close, right, you can schedule accordingly, like 1 to 2 months before you can start revising your CS fundamentals which you have done in previous, first second year. Because like operating system, computer networks, data, DBMS, oops, all these are very important and they are asked in interviews. So as I've told you, in online coding, after the online coding round, there was 25 to 30 MCQs of these important CS fundamentals only. So
Right.
we you'll have to do that. So yeah.
They
And
are
where
important.
yeah, and from where I did, obviously everyone does from Geeks for Geeks only, and it's best resource you can ever get. So yeah, I too did from Geeks for Geeks only. We have in Geeks for Geeks there is one very interesting article on this CS fundamentals, which is like top in interview questions of like computers networks, top interview questions of operating systems. So those articles I go through. So those are very important. So if anyone is preparing, they can definitely go and check out that.
Right. Also, with CS fundamentals, my personal opinion is if you pay attention to what is there in your curriculum, because operating system DBMS it is there in Btech curriculum, I think then there wouldn't be any need to like pay
Yes.
extra attention to these subjects, right? So I
Yeah.
ignored these subjects initially, like I did not pay that much of attention. So this is what I realized later on.
And totally see, talking about, let's say, operating system also, we don't need to memorize any formulas or something. We just need to know
Right.
the basic concepts, like what are the scheduling algorithms and different types of, let's say, scheduling. And also, it's basically just the concept which you need to know. not the
Hmm.
formulas, or they obviously in the interview they'll not ask you to solve like this
Right.
problem of, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, it is, I think, totally understand. Once you've understood the concepts of operating system, DBMS, and everything, I don't think there is much to learn in these subjects. Correct.
Yes.
Then the next thing is, which is I think the most common question among the freshers that at least I've seen, that should we do competitive programming or not? They are like, because everybody's doing it, should we do it or not? So do you think competitive programming will help the students clear interviews, or they can skip competitive programming if it doesn't interest them?
So what I think is practice is required. So let's say, Muskan, let's say, take a scenario. You are giving an online round and you are not able to manage the time. So you have two problems. You have 1 hour. How will you able to manage? We will be
Right.
reading problem, and sometimes we take more time. So what my, like, whenever I suggest people to do competitive programming, it's just because of this fact that you will be able to manage your time. You will be able to work under that pressure. So if you're, see, it totally depends on person to person. If you're good in DSA, first thing which needs to be done before starting competitive is you should be good in DSA. That's it.
Yes.
If you're
Yes.
not good in DSA, don't ever do CP, because obviously you will not be able to solve because you don't know the concepts, right?
Hmm.
So first of all, if you're good in DSA, then only do CP. And so yeah, so CP also, if you think that you are not able to work under that pressure, you are not able to think of the solution in that time constraint, you need to do practice before that.
Right.
So that is one thing which I usually suggest people, that if you find yourself in that position that you're not able to solve a problem in that time constraint, do practice competitive programming problems, give
Right.
contest, analyze yourself, work under that time constraint, and you will be able to, go through that.
Yes, I think this is a very important point that you mentioned, that working under time constraint, because suppose you're sitting in an interview, the interviewer cannot wait the whole day.
Yes.
You have 1 hour or 1.5 hours, and you have to solve 2 to 3 questions that the interviewer has prepared, right? So yes, that is important. Initially, maybe you can take longer time, but then eventually you should know
Yes.
how to solve the question in a short span. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the next thing is resources. So I see on internet there are so many resources that freshers get overwhelmed that which resource to follow and which not to follow, and eventually they end up skipping. Like they start with one resource, then they skip to another, which is I think the like which I don't think a fresher should do. Right? I think they should follow one resource. So which resource did you follow while you were preparing for Walmart?
So there were a lot of resources, Muskan. I was not bound to one. It's not that
Hmm.
I am doing the same topic from all the resources. It was not like that.
Huh.
That's really stupid to do, because we are just
Hmm.
wasting our time. So what I used to do is, like, for some topics I used to follow some YouTube playlist. Right.
Right.
For some topics I used to refer to Geeks for Geeks articles. So,
Hmm.
so it's distributed in such a way that I'm covering all the topics, but I'm covering from the best resources.
Best resources. Correct.
Yes, and this you only get to know by time. Okay, it's like, let's say someone has the best resource, but it's not, you are not able to understand. So it might happen that some other resource which is not as popular as the other one, but you are able to understand from that one. It
Right.
totally depends on you. So what I suggest is, sometimes people do what na, they take an online course also, and the same thing they are doing from YouTube also, same thing
Hmm.
they are doing from online course also. So that is waste of time. They are doing arrays from
Right.
here also, and they are doing arrays from YouTube also. So that is waste of time. Don't do the same topics from all the resources. Distribute
Hmm.
the topics and do them.
Right. And best resources, I think, can change from person to person. What suits you the best might not suit
Yes.
me or the person who is
Yes.
viewing it, right? So maybe see all the resources and see that from whichever teacher or whichever YouTube channel or course you're understanding the best, that is the best resource for you.
And just, it's not that you have to check all the resources, because as you said, there are many resources. So one thing which can help here is just talk with your peers, right? Talk with
Right.
your college junior, seniors, juniors, whoever you look up to, and discuss with them that, okay, you are doing from this, you are doing, because when we interact, right, we learn. So if you are
Right.
not interacting, you might be missing on some important things which you should know. because sometimes people, right, as I said, I used to be active on LinkedIn. So right now there might be some college, students who think that they are who are not much active on LinkedIn. So
Hmm.
they might miss out some opportunities with which other people who are active on LinkedIn might get. So then they
Right.
will, they will regret and all that. So I think, yeah, that is what we should do. Interaction is very important.
Interact. And I think LinkedIn is a great place to interact with people. People have been really helpful. Like
Yes.
initially when I joined LinkedIn, I was like, why will people help me? But people do help a lot, and they keep on posting resources like whichever have helped them the best. Sometimes I've seen people post the whole like operating system notes or DCCN
Yes.
notes, and I was like, literally handwritten notes people have
Hmm.
posted it. So LinkedIn is a great place to network, as Ayushi mentioned. Like everybody should, check it out. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the next thing is the HR rounds. A lot of people I've seen that they are able to clear the technical rounds or online assessments, but once it comes to HR rounds, like it is a problem for them. So like what was your HR round like, and what are your tips for students to prepare for HR rounds?
So Muskan, as such, I haven't prepared much for HR rounds. Obviously, whenever we
Hmm.
have managerial rounds, we do look the questions which are asked, right? We see different
Right.
videos on what questions are asked in HR rounds. So I just used to prepare in such a way that I should not answer a question which might make a negative impact on my, myself, and
Right.
and I also need to be honest in that. It's not like I
Right.
will, lie or something. So
Huh.
yeah, it's totally see, for HR rounds you just need to be more conservative. You need to do a conversation, and you need to be honest, and when you are being honest also, you need to check that you are not making yourself negative in some sort of way,
Correct.
or the other person is thinking that you're not efficient, or right. So because yeah, so that is one thing you need to take care in HR rounds, and I think it's pretty easy. It's not very much difficult. But yeah, you need to look up to the questions which are asked first.
Which are asked or commonly asked questions, yes.
Yes.
HR rounds are, I think, equally important as technical rounds, so do not
Yes.
take them lightly at all. Because I've seen a lot of people clear three, four technical rounds, and
Yes.
then they are not able to clear the HR rounds, which is the last step. So yes,
Yeah, as I said, because you know what, you need to be honest, but along with being honest, you need to be think you need to take care that you are not being negative in some sort of way.
correct,
So that
correct.
is one thing. Yeah.
Yes. So the next thing is how do you deal with anxiety? Because a lot of times, even I face this problem that I'm stuck on a particular question, I'm not able to solve it, right? So what do you do during these times, or when it is like you're not able to solve a question for so many days? How do you deal with the anxiety or the overwhelmingness that is there?
Yeah, sometimes we encounter some problems which are not able to understand, like okay, we did dry run, but we are not able to, that satisfaction which we get, that okay, yeah, this was a concept. So that sometimes also, yeah, I also face that a lot many times. But then I used to give a halt to that problem for some time, and
Hmm.
move on to other problem. So
Right.
yeah, it's not like I used to spend a lot many days on one problem. I used
Hmm.
to, used to go through it for some time, and if I'm not able to, I move on with the other problem. And after few days or after some time, I used to pick it up again, because you should not leave a problem which you think is important, and if it's an important question, you should not leave it, obviously. So yeah, yeah, what I used to do was, in that case, I used to go through the YouTube videos if there is any on the YouTube, or I used to go to Geeks for Geeks articles, which I think are very important, very, very helpful. I used to go through article if I'm able to understand. Mostly I was able to understand either through YouTube or through GFG articles.
Right.
But yeah, I think that is only we can do. Otherwise, if you have friends, right, as I said, interaction is very important. So if you have friends, you can discuss with them, join Telegram groups, Discord servers. There are so many resources, right, in today time. So you can just interact with people, and you can clear your doubts.
Right, that is well said. Also, I think being consistent is very important. You should
Yes.
never leave, just stop doing the essay or stop
Yeah.
doing like the questions if you're stuck at particular question, because like, and you can see, look at the solutions. I think many people think that if they are looking at the solutions, that is the wrong thing. I don't think looking at
Yeah.
the solutions is the wrong thing, right? Like, try it for yourself. If you're not getting it, then you can look at the solutions.
Yes.
Right. So these are all the questions from my side, Ayushi. Any other tip that you would like to give to the students who are preparing for interviews at Walmart or any other interview?
First thing is you should practice CS fundamentals. Like need to get basic idea of CS fundamentals, because those will be asked in interviews. One or two questions they might ask, in the starting of interview when you're giving your introduction, they might ask you. um,
Mm.
and apart from that, you should be obviously you should have that practice in online coding rounds, because there will be time constraint where you have to do solve problems. And yeah, apart from that, Muskan, yeah, I think yeah, talking about managerial round also, you need to be having good projects. Two to three good projects are sufficient for that. So because in the managerial round they might ask you about your projects which you have done, so you need to
Right.
have a clear understanding of that. I think yeah, that's pretty much from my end.
Yes. That was really informative, Ayushi. Thank you for sharing your experience and thank you so much for, answering all the questions. I hope it helps a lot of students who are watching this video. Thank you once again. And also all the viewers, do not forget to check out Ayushi's channel. It is really informative. And yes, we will put down the link in the description box below. Okay.
Yeah, thanks,
Bye.
Muskan, for having